everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joey. You joined me today at the Auto Club Speedway. It's a little rainy, it's a little cold. Today I'm gonna have the C7 Corvette Stingray out on track. It's also the OC Festival of Speed today. We got a lot of cool stuff here. Koenigsegg's, Paganis, McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini, all the big names are here. Okay, so we've gotten here a little bit early. I'm gonna head inside the garage and we're gonna take a look at some of Dan Amai's cars before anybody's here, so it's not crowded. Let's take a look. Centenario, the new Senna, both in exposed carbon with the blue accents. With all the Koenigsegg's you could imagine. Zagira RS's, and down here, Dan Amai's the Cherry Bomb, the Regira. Take a look at that. Look at the wheels on this. Look at that clearance there. CCXR Travita. Sat next to the Regira. If that's not enough Koenigsegg's for you, then I don't know what to tell you. Can't do any more. We got a little better weather now. Looks like the track's starting to dry up. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna take this out on the track. Hopefully we see some other cool cars out there and we can keep up with them a little bit. And before I go out on track, I'm gonna have a few camera angles per the rules of Speed Ventures, the organizers of the track day. Gotta have the windows down. It'll be really hard to hear if I do talk. After I get off track, I can talk a little bit about how the car is handled. Again, I just want to point out it is the base entry-level model. It does not have the Z51 package. The only modifications done to the car, Bridgestone RE71 tires, and I just recently, actually yesterday, put some R1 Concepts performance brake pads on there. Just thought I didn't burn through the brake pads in one lap here. So other than that, it's stock, and we're gonna see what a stock Corvette Stingray with really no performance packages on it. It's really the base. What it can do out here on the track should be fun. Let's do it. This is the helmet camera vlog here. I see some Audi R8s starting up and a couple of Porsche 911s, so we're definitely gonna have some company out there. I'm just waiting for my dad, who's gonna be getting into the car here. He's gonna get in with me, and again, I'm not really gonna be able to talk inside the car. Let's see how it goes.
No burnouts in pit lane?
No.
Fucking bad.
So that is a 991.2 GT3RS in front of us there as we start our session. And this car, straight line speed, pretty impressive. I don't know if it's a match for the 3RS, but into the first braking zone here, we are on the R1 Concepts performance brake pads. And fresh. They don't have too much heat into them yet, so they're working well. So through a tight section here into this left, there's a little bit of water down on the track here. And I think the 3RS might have been a little conservative there, I don't blame him. But out onto the oval here, very amused by the sound of the 3RS. And we get up to about 135, 140 as we go into turn one of the banking, then slowing down to about 110, 105 through the banking. As we exit the chicane, again, just trying to hang on to that 3RS is a tall order for sure. But here into this left, what's almost a hairpin, double apex left-hand corner. Very good lateral grip in the car. Obviously the RE71 Bridgestone tires helping with that. Good grip on power down corner exit. Into a fast chicane here. The car was very good through here. Into a heavy braking zone for this right-hand hairpin. A little bit of a late apex through here. You can hear the tires a little bit. But they were hanging in there. Down the straight here. This car is so fun on the the track and just really has a lot of power down the straightaways. Still the brakes hanging in there into the chicane again. Love the sound of that 3RS in front of us. Coming back out here onto the oval. There goes a 911 Carrera GTS, just letting him blow by us there in the straight. And coming up, another GT3RS. You have down there on the apron a 991.1 version GT3RS. So a lot of 911s out here with us. Super fun. So now just trying to keep pace with another 3RS in front of us, and he's chasing down that 911 Carrera GTS. I think we clipped the cone there on the corner exit. Obviously doing all that we can here behind the wheel. And through that double apex left again. A little moment there on the exit, but the tires doing all they can. Really impressive what these RE71s can do on just a C7 Stingray. So the brakes here, I think have started to heat up a little bit and feeling the effect. But heading down the straightaway here, we're coming into another pretty heavy braking zone. Still hanging in there as we're able to bring it down to the apex, get power down on the exit. Just try and keep those 911s in sight as we exit here onto the oval. This car really gets going here. Having the car in manual mode, a lot of fun. Up to some pretty high speeds on the oval. And then through the banking here, I was a bit concerned because the factory C7 Stingray suspension without Z51, it's a pretty soft ride, and so through the compression of the banking, it was a little bit nervous. Here, good traction in the chicane. Really able to push the car on corner exit, power down. The tires give you a lot more grip over the factory. Michelin Pilot Super Sport. It looks like we've made up a little ground here on the 911 GTS as we exit that double apex left. Clicking up through the gears here into this fast chicane, left and then right back to the right. The brakes are still hanging on. They don't have a whole lot left in them. Tires beginning to howl a little bit, but still enough to get you there on corner exit and hold the car down. Through the straightaway here, up through the gears again. This is where I think the brakes have just about had it, as we'll outbrake ourselves there and miss the apex. An embarrassing moment, but not afraid to show it because
these brakes need a little rest.
Yeah.
talking about the brakes there.
Yeah.
They do have a tipping point, and we reached it there. So here we're just cooling the car down. Done just about all that we can do. Trying to chase those cars down. Maybe not the best idea because it really has me pushing the car.
That was the most fun ever.
So I don't know if you guys can get a shot. Trans fluid temperature looks like it's at about 210. Tires are hot. I've never actually had the tire indicator up at hot before. Oil temperature looks like it's actually right at about 200, 210. Oil pressure looks fine. Yeah, and then water temperature down here, I mean, it's approaching probably 210, 215. For having just run those pretty hard laps with the GT3RSs, I would say that's about all this car's got in it. And then you kind of got to back it off before these temps get out of control. So stock Stingray. I know you see the Z06 logo on the steering wheel. It's not a Z06. This is just a new steering wheel. It's not actually a Z06, I promise. But it sure does look like one out on track, being how capable it is. Those guys seem like no slouches in the GT3RSs, but this thing just really was, I mean, we were digging deep. We were digging deep real hard, but holy hell, that was crazy. That was pretty insane, Dad. I'm kind of astonished at what this car is able to do out on track, to be honest with you. C7 Stingray with no Z51 package to go out there against GT3RSs and hold its own for a lap or two. I love you, car. I love you. This Stingray, brand new, $52,000. That's right, $52,000 right here will get you 2 laps with a GT3RS. We had a 3RS out there with Y-Sock package. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm blown away. The car, let's go over the car. So the brakes, I told you guys, I got R1 Concepts performance brake pads on here. There's really only brake pads on this, and so let's just assess the brakes here. Yeah, I think we might have cooked them. If you can see, there's some pretty good discoloration. It's like a damn heater coming off the brakes right now. And, looks like they got cooked pretty good by those new pads. Rotors are a couple $100, and a GT3RS is 200 grand. So I'll take the rotors. I'll take the rotors. And one thing too that I was paying attention to, because this car doesn't have the dry sump oil system, I was waiting in the middle of a corner, especially the tighter hairpin corners, when the car's really laid over, to get that message on the dash that I got during autocross, actually, which is funny. I guess just tighter corners, but that the car was oil starving, if you will, and it cuts power. That never happened out there through all that, and you'll see on the onboard just how crazy we were pushing it through the corners, the tighter hairpins. In terms of functionality, I mean, we were able to run a few hard laps, and I'm talking like really hard laps. I mean, it was all I could do and all the car I think could do to crank out to hang with the GT3s. If you push the car at 80% instead of 100%, you could probably push it longer, but I wanted to have a little show and make it fun for myself and maybe fun for you guys to watch. So because the track is still moist, there's some moisture out there, I left the traction control turned on, which if you guys have seen in my videos, you know I never run with traction control turned on because I don't like the way it interferes. I just wanted to keep it on because in some of the wet patches, I didn't want the car to all of a sudden break loose. Exiting a lot of the corners, I was flat out on the throttle. Sometimes it was blinking on the dash, but really for the most part, the traction wasn't fighting the car that much. And contrary to what I said before, it was actually working pretty well. It's kind of cold outside, but I have a space heater down here. It's like an oven right now. Like 10 minutes after I've gotten off the track and they're still cooking, but they get the job done. I don't know. Oh, and let's also look at the front air dam. As everyone knows, this car is so low and it scrapes on this front little rubber air dam, but I heard that if you take this air dam off, that at high speeds on the track, it'll actually produce more front end lift. And so I had to fix mine on there with a little zip tie. I had to fix it on there with a zip tie just to get me through the weekend here. It's holding up too, so C7 air dam approved. Let's look at the tires and see. I mean, this is probably the tire we were leaning on the hardest. So you guys can see some of the outside wear. It's normal. It's a 200 tread wear tire, RE71. And I know someone's gonna be jocking me for my Z06 steering wheel saying, oh, this is just a Z06 under covers. I promise it's not. This is a base C7 Corvette Stingray. It does not have the performance package, the Z51 package. It's your base model Corvette that I know some people have their doubts about. Having pushed it out there on the track hard, I mean really hard, it was able to last for how long? I don't know. I mean, a couple laps it was able to last, at least a couple full laps here, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. But if you were to dial it back to like 80–90%, you could drive the thing on the track all day. I think you could drive it all day on the track and I think you wouldn't have any problems. Probably the worst thing about having this car on the track would be the brakes. They overheat really quick. I think that's to be expected. No ventilation on these rotors. I don't even know if the Z51 rotors would cure that, honestly, guys, because the brakes get pushed really hard when you're on track. When you're on track like this, coming off, you know, we're braking off the oval from like 130 miles an hour. The brakes get pushed really hard, and so that's the one thing I think on this car. If you don't have carbon ceramics, really,
you're gonna have to worry about the brakes. It's gonna be a factor. But again, the dry sump oil system, as a verdict, is it necessary? Apparently not. Is it an advantage? Yes, definitely. I'm not downplaying it, but I don't think that you need it. Temperatures in the car seemed, I mean, it was getting hot, but nothing unbearable. Yeah, this is an impressive machine for sure. My first time out on track with it, and a lot of positive things to say about it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But now I'm just gonna cruise around the show. I'm gonna film some of the cars that are here, and we're gonna look at some of the higher end, the hyper cars, the Paganis and Koenigsegg's. See, these are the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, and these are what I imagine were on some of those GT3RS's. See, now those Sport Cup 2s were on a AMG GTR, but here, a GT2RS. Tread wear rating on these is about 180 to the RE71, which the RE71 is a 200 tread wear tire. And in terms of grip, you can see in the corners, those RE71s were holding up pretty well. So behind me is the new 720S Spider, and then we have a McLaren P1 and a Senna all spec'd in similar fashion. This is the all-new 720S Spider. So if you want a 720S with the roof off, there you go. McLaren P1. Oof. That is set down to the ground too. Look at the ride height on that, huh? Spoiler up. Senna. Look at all the aero on this. You really only know when you see it in person. It's hard to capture on a camera. Just all that's going on with this thing. The red center caps, MSO option, the Senna logo on the wing. Obviously the US spec exhaust there with the 2 pipes. I know there's a lot of talk over that, 2 pipes versus 3. Shot of the front.
Yeah, the Rolls Royce way better.
I think the Jeep needs to go out on track. What do you guys think? Is it ready for the track? Out on the oval? On the Maxxis tires? Shout out GR. Shout out to GR. Jen Wright. Check them out. All right, I made it back home. The C7 Stingray is home safe. Wow, what a trip that was. I'm pretty exhausted right now, I'm not gonna lie. It was all smooth on the way home. I don't think the car has any problems. And the brakes, actually, I wanted to get a shot for you guys. Those marks in the center. What we saw at the track, what looked like they were marks from them overheating and kind of getting cooked, look like they're starting to wear off a little bit, so it'll probably just return to normal. Other than me being an asshat and kind of clipping a cone at one of the apexes, I think it was on the exit. I clipped a cone on the exit and kind of put a little cone mark down the door, but that'll buff out. Yeah, other than that, that was a fun time, guys. A review of the C7 Corvette Stingray on track and what it's like to push the car. I mean, I really felt like I was pushing the car pretty hard, and it held up well. That was a blast, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.